Welcome back to Red Devils TV, the Realist channel on YouTube. It's been a while. Yes, we're actually doing a live stream for once, so hopefully we get a few people in the comments. But anyway, let's get right into it. I'm joined by Charlie today from Blue Brothers Chelsea fan channel, or you'll also know him on Chelsea Fan TV. Charlie, thank you for joining me this evening. Now, as a Chelsea fan, you were banned to club pretty much 2 years ago, and under Maresca, it's completely turned around. How do you feel towards the start of the season for Chelsea?
Yeah, it's been good, mate. Better than I think a lot of us would have expected it to be. Wasn't really too sure what to expect. Kind of relatively unknown manager, pretty inexperienced in terms of senior management experience. But he's come in, he's shaken things up. He's got his ideas across quickly. You can see what we're trying to do. There's a clear style of play, there's a clear identity, there's clear patterns of play. And the players seem to be taking to what's being asked of them pretty well. Going forward, we look lethal. On our day, I don't think any defense is stopping us from scoring goals, with the quality options that we've got. Defensively, okay, there's been a few issues here and there, and that's an area that definitely needs to improve. It's probably the weakest area of the team. But whilst we're picking up points, if we're outscoring teams, that's not going to be a huge problem. Admittedly, it'll be more of an issue in the bigger games where you get less chances and whatnot. But yeah, for me, mate, we started really well. And other than maybe the home draws against Palace and Forest, which, it's always disappointing to drop points at home, everything's been pretty spot on so far.
Yeah, obviously, like I said, or what you said, should I say, that Chelsea have had a decent start to the season, and yeah, I mean, pretty sure you and the rest of the Chelsea fans are pretty buzzing considering how much you have struggled recently. I mean, you finished quite strong towards the end of last season, and considering that under Pochettino, it was like up and down constantly throughout the season, and then it was like it clicked towards the last 10 games of the season, and he ended up getting sacks anyway. As a Chelsea fan, like, how did you feel when Pochettino got sacked? Do you think he deserved more time, or do you think he was just not good enough either?
No, I always said, and I said at the time, that I felt he should have stayed for one more season. For two reasons. One, because we'd finished the season pretty strongly, and maybe should have just been given another season to continue that work and kind of see where we're at. Just for a bit, just for continuity purposes as well. We've made a lot of managerial changes in a very short space of time. And also felt he should have stayed because there was kind of a lack of sort of candidates out there. Having said that, on the early evidence of this season, how he started so far, it very much looks like the right decision and the right thing to have done. Obviously, there's a long way left of the season. So, after 7 games, you can't really make a judgment. Let's see how we get on at the end of the season. But early evidence suggesting it was the right thing to do. At the time, I disagreed with it, but as facts and evidence change, so do your opinions. And right now, it's looking like it was the right thing to do.
Yes, spot on. I mean, obviously, like you said, with the manager, you didn't really typically want Pochettino to go. You think he deserved more time. But obviously, United, we're currently in a situation where the manager's future is very doubtful. From an outsider's perspective, what are your thoughts on Erik ten Hag?
It's just not good enough, really. It's as simple as that, in my opinion. Yes, he's got the cups. Okay, first year he come in, he done really well, 3rd place and a trophy, brilliant. And you're sort of thinking, right, okay, can he push on here? What can he do? Second season, all right, you got an FA Cup, but let's not pretend that the season was a shambles. Lowest ever finish in the Premier League, 8th. Bottom of a Champions League group containing Copenhagen, Galatasaray, and teams like that.
Don't remind me.
For Man United, for Man United, that's not good enough. And the start of this season has been dreadful. We scored 5 goals in 7 games, and 3 of those were against 10 men Southampton. There's no goals in the team. There's no style of play. There's no identity. No one seems to know what they're doing. Ineos, have made a poor decision, in my opinion, keeping him on. He's not their guy. They actively speaking to other managers in the summer, couldn't get who they wanted. So it's like, oh, we'll just continue with this guy. And then they're out there again looking for other managers, meetings and whatnot. It's a shambles all round. Whatever you think of Ten Hag, it's not fair on him. He knows he's finished. He's just on borrowed time. He's just waiting for Ineos to pull the trigger on him. And unfortunately, I never like to say managers need to be sacked, but he needs to go because United are going absolutely nowhere under Ten Hag. People can say, oh, he might be able to turn it around. If this was his first season and it was just the start of his time at United, that's a far stronger argument. This is a 3rd season in now. No identity, no style of play, no nothing. You've seen Maresca come in 3 months he's been here. clear identity, clear style of play. Look at other managers that have been in a job a short space of time. There's clear ideas there, and they're just not there at United. And look, they spent a lot
But
of.
the thing is, just to interrupt you there, is that it does quite frustrate me when I see a lot of rival fans and certain United fans saying tonight's got no style of play. He has got a style of play. It's just the fact that it just clearly just doesn't work at the moment. Ten Hag likes to set up with a three at the back, with a fullback drifting to midfield or becomes an out wide player. He likes to press up the pitch, win the ball high up, and try and keep high possession in a high line.
But you
But at
don't
the end
do
of the
that.
day, what?
But you guys don't do that.
No, that's what I'm saying. So I'm
Yeah.
saying you see it in the setup, and you see it when we try playing out from the back. You see it when we're trying to do other different patterns and stuff in the game, and we're just getting completely dominated. There's too much space. There's too much like negativity in towards the team. I don't look at any Manchester United player at this moment in time that wants to fight for the badge. And for a club that's known for history for players that fight for the badge, for the passion that they show towards the fans, there's nothing like this is my first season as a season ticket holder at Old Trafford, and bloody hell, it's a good season to start off, isn't it? Not really, but at the end of the day, it's frustrating because you look at Ten Hag and it's like he has no plan B. Like we criticize someone like Postecoglou, right? All out attacking, rock and roll football, and he's got no plan B when they go a goal down or anything like that. He just keeps on attacking. I mean, was it Chelsea last season where Nicholas Jackson scored a hat trick against him or something like that, right? Because he went down to 9 men, whatever it was, and they still kept playing on the halfway line. Like at the end of the day, like managers need to have a backup plan. Arteta, brilliant example. What was it? Trossard gets sent off, and then they're defending all game. But thing is, would Ten Hag think like that? I don't think so. And I'm not saying Ten Hag's a bad manager, but I don't think he's a great manager. So it's like if United really do want to get a manager in, then it has to be a manager with a reputation that would make the other clubs or the rival fans look at and be like, oh, okay, United have got a very good manager here. Now, for me, that's Thomas Tuchel or Nagelsmann. But do you see any manager out there right now that would be a perfect fit for United?
I think Tuchel would be a very good option. He's available. He's a free agent, as it were. So there's no negotiating to do with any clubs. Only issue I'd say with Tuchel is it depends what United are looking for. They're looking for someone long term. Tuchel doesn't do long term. You know, he's a little bit like Mourinho in that sense, where he comes in, will do like maybe 2-3 seasons max, falls out with the higher ups, and then he moves on. You know, he's not done longevity anywhere in his career. I don't know if United are really in that sort of situation where they just want someone to come in for a couple of years, maybe win a couple of things, and then move on. The team's not ready to win anything, so that for that side of things, it wouldn't really make sense. Is Tuchel what you call a quote unquote project manager? No, probably not. That's just the reality. But in terms of what he would do if he did go in, he'd get you playing. He'd get you looking defensively solid. He'd get you tactically, you know, switched on. There'd be tactical plans. Players would know what they're doing. And there would be an improvement for sure. Now, is he a miracle worker? No. Is the United squad good? It's all right. I think there's a lot of players there that people think are far, far better than they actually are. There's a lot of players that are massively underperforming compared to the money they're earning, compared to the transfer fees that are paid for them. And all in all, it's just not a great place to be right now. But look, Tuchel, I think, is the obvious candidate. Whether he wants it or not, I don't know. I mean, what's changed between now and the summer? They spoke in the summer. Whether United decided against him or whether Tuchel decided against it is kind of by the by. The decision was made that it wasn't going to happen. So if it's an Ineos decision, they're going to look pretty stupid 3 or 4 months later than going back to the guy that they perhaps decided wasn't right. Or if it wasn't right for Tuchel in the summer, it's arguably now a worse situation at United than it was in the summer. So why is it now suddenly then right for him now?
Yeah, I agree with you. Obviously, talking about United's ownership, I feel like that's why they didn't pull the plug on Eric Ten Hag, because they changed everything upstairs, they changed the training facilities and everything. I feel like that if they went and just changed the manager as well in the summer, and they got it wrong, all eyes would have been on them. But now they're already catching fire because that like fans are demanding Ineos to sack him because they think that they've made the wrong decision by keeping him. So it was a gamble that Ineos has taken. And I feel like as well with any new ownership, when they come into a football club, they're always going to want their own person. So I think it was inevitable anyway with Eric Ten Hag. I like to describe it as an hourglass. Like, it doesn't matter how many times you turn it over, eventually the sand is going to reach the bottom and your time's up. And that's why I feel like it is with Eric Ten Hag. So is Eric Ten Hag a good manager and a successful manager for Manchester United? It's really hard to say because, yes, he won us our first couple of trophies in a few years. And, that first season was amazing. But like you said, like, should have Eric Ten Hag been kept on after that FA Cup final win? Probably not, because should one game judge the entire season? Probably not, because and United just clearly weren't good enough last season. But a player that has received a lot of criticism and has divided the fan base a little bit, especially with the likes of Eric Ten Hag, is Jadon Sancho, a recent new Chelsea player as well. Now, Charlie, how has Jadon Sancho improved Chelsea, do you think?
He's done really well. He's come in. He was brilliant in his debut against Bournemouth as man of the match. He set up the winning goal, made a big difference there. He's been direct, offers a different outlet, and he's got 3 assists in 4 games. He started the last 3 on the spin. Yeah, I'm surprised at how well he's done so quickly, considering he's not played an awful lot of football. At the time we signed him, I like him. I think he's a very good footballer, but I didn't really sort of know with the options we've got where he'd really fit in. It's quite obvious where he fits in now. And yeah, he just gives us a different option on that left-hand side. And look, yeah, he's not the paciest. Maybe he's not going to someone that gets him behind, but he's a very good dribbler. He can, he's very good with the ball, good retention in close spaces. Can take a man on. Has got a good way to pass. The only criticism I'd say, or maybe something that needs to improve on, is that when he gets in a wide position or when he's approaching the box or whatever, just be a little bit more selfish in terms of take the shot on a bit more. It's kind of the opposite to Madueke almost, where Sancho is always looking for a teammate, whereas sometimes he'd be better off taking the shot on. And Madueke is almost the opposite sometimes. Maybe takes the shot on too often when he would be better passing to a teammate in a better position. Sancho's kind of the opposite. Just take the shot on a bit more, maybe be a little bit more selfish and whatnot in terms of that. But mate, he's done really well. Under no illusions, 4 games does not mean that Jadon Sancho's back. 4 games doesn't mean that Jadon Sancho's going to be brilliant for Chelsea. But in terms of a start, he's done really well. And it's going to be interesting to see how he develops over the course of the season and obviously his time at Chelsea.
Yeah, I mean, I discussed off camera with you saying that Sancho looks like the player he was at Dortmund. Now, when he was at Dortmund before United signed him, he wasn't a poacher type winger. He wasn't getting 30 goals and assists like someone like Mo Salah would. But the thing is about Jadon Sancho is that he's one of them players, kind of like a Riyad Mahrez almost, where he doesn't get many goals and assists, but he's very impactful when he's on form. And I feel like that you especially see the link up with Cucurella as well on that left-hand side. They look like they've formed quite a decent partnership. And I kind of look at it and I'm like, maybe Sancho off the left would have worked at Manchester United, but he always was played off the right as that creative player. So it's quite interesting to see how Sancho does. Obviously, I'm not a hater towards Jadon Sancho. I wish him all the best, and that's it really. But at the end of the day, obviously, I'm fuming with the way he treated the club, the way that he threw his toys out the pram when Eric Ten Hag said he wasn't working hard enough in training. Now, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but for me, I felt like Sancho was throwing his toys out the pram. And I feel like as well that he was never in love with Man United, which is, for me, so important. Like, you look at someone like Rasmus Højlund, Charlie, like a player that isn't world class, who's a very decent prospect, but is passionate, and you know that even if they're not going to have a good game, they're still going to try and put in everything that they can on that pitch, and they're going to put out at least a 6 or 7 out of 10 performance. Sancho never gave that, in my opinion. He just seemed like that arrogant type player who didn't really want to be and just came for the money and came for the name almost. And you see, I mean, there's videos about him out there when he was on England duty saying that he was a Chelsea fan growing up. So maybe he has a bit of love and connection towards Chelsea, which is why you can see he looks a lot more comfortable at the club. But Yeah, do you feel like that Maresca might try Sancho in a different position, maybe in the 10 or off the right at all?
Probably not the 10, but there's no reason why maybe at some stage he might try him on the right potentially. Like, I don't think that can be fully ruled out, but I think predominantly he is going to feature down the left. He in a recent press conference, he was asked about the attacking options, and he very much said, that Neto and Madueke were right wing options, and Kunku and Jackson were the number 9 options, Felix and Palmer the 10s, and then Mudryk and Sancho were the options on the left. Now that obviously doesn't mean that no one else can play anywhere else, but that's kind of very much how he sees him. So I would expect to see Sancho predominantly play down that left-hand side. And I think that, for him at Chelsea, this is a chance for him to restart his career again, get his career back on track. Difficult 3 years at United, didn't work out. And I think he's come to Chelsea. He's a London boy. It kind of feels more like home for him, I'd imagine. He's obviously got a lot of lads that he knows at the club. He's probably more friendly with a lot of the Chelsea players than perhaps he was with the Man United players. I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of the dressing room dynamics or anything at United, but it certainly seems that seems very happy to be out of there. He seems happy to be at Chelsea. I think he's very much. Maresca said it himself. He's a player that needs a bit of love, like needs a kind of an arm around the shoulder. And at United, he just didn't get that. I know they were good with him. They gave him time off when he was going through difficult things with his mental health and things like that. But yeah, the whole thing just from both sides really could have been handled so much better. But it's a fresh start from at Chelsea. I'm pleased he's at the club, and I'm looking forward to him, contributing and making an impact for us.
Yeah, I mean, like, I agree with what you said there. And the thing is, well, I don't really want to keep alluding to the Sancho situation, but would you call him a flop at United?
I think it's difficult. Did he live up to expectations from his move to Dortmund to United? Did he deliver? No, he didn't deliver. Is he a
3 million as well, by the way?
Is he a flop? I think there were some good moments. I don't know. I think maybe a flop's a bit strong, but you'd have to say it was a disappointing signing and it didn't work out. It's as simple as that. But he was a better signing than someone like Anthony is, for example.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, didn't work out. Poor signing in the end, but I wouldn't say it was a flop personally. It just didn't work out.
Yeah, well, I mean, one person who's definitely not a flop, I just want to quickly mention him because I'm a massive fan of him, Cole Palmer. I mean, yeah, it's just that you look at Cole Palmer, and for me, I think he's one of the best in the world at the moment in his position, but that's just, I feel like that. So I want to talk about quickly about Chelsea's and how you feel like the season's going to go on, because obviously, no doubt you're going to face a lot more tougher opponents as the season goes on. Do you feel like that Cole Palmer is the be-all and end-all at Chelsea? Do you hope he stays for the rest of his career?
I mean, look, it's impossible to say. Kid's 22. Do I expect him to stay until 2033 when his contract's up? No. Do I expect any of these players to stay the full length of their contract? No, because it's football, and things can change very quickly. Look, I think he's very happy at the club. I think he will stay here for a number of years. And yeah, he's just a phenomenal footballer. I think right now on form, he's the best player in the Premier League. I think he's one of the best players in the world currently. What he's doing and what he has done over the last sort of 16 or coming up 18 months in January has been phenomenal. His numbers are a joke. His influence in a game is mad. And he's one of those players that just plays like he's playing with his mates in the park. I don't think he feels pressure. Like, he's just not phased by anything. He just goes out there, just having a kick about, does his thing. He's got in football intelligence. He's got a whole catalogue of finishes. And look, he's very much Chelsea's main man. Are we as reliant on him this season? I would say early evidence suggests no, because the supporting cast have stepped up. Jackson's got 4 goals in 7. Madueke's got 4 in 7. Sancho 3 assists. Like, players are contributing. So when he does have an off game, he had an off game against Bournemouth, we still won. He wasn't particularly effective against West Ham. Yes, he scored. We weren't particularly effective in that game. We took him off after an hour, and we still won. So whilst he's still very much kind of Chelsea's main guy, I would say that we are less reliant on him this season because of the other options that we've got now. And we definitely play more as a team than we have done previously.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, I'm definitely worried when they come to Old Trafford in a few weeks, because
I wouldn't be too. Well, I would say worried, mate. But I don't think we've won there for like going on over 10 years. We haven't won there. It's mad.
With our current records, the amount of records Eric Ten Hag's break at the moment for the wrong reasons, I would not be surprised.
Well, yeah, I don't know, but it's always one that I worry about. It doesn't matter how bad United are playing. Old Trafford's just doesn't happen for us. I felt confident going there last season, and we played probably one of the worst performances I've ever seen Chelsea have. We were dreadful. But yeah, look, I think he's on for the big stage, and he just you kind of run out of words to describe what he's doing. He just keeps going up and up and up.
For me as well, I know it's a massive shot, and this is a neutral. Like, for me, he's the best English player we have currently. Like, for the national team and just in the whole world, I put him up. I think he's better than Bellingham. I think he's better than Saka. I think he's better than Harry Kane overall. I know it's a massive statement because Harry Kane's obviously a clinical goal scorer who's done wonders for the Premier League and stuff. But I just look at Cole Palmer, and I'm a massive fan, and it pains me because you like a load of United fans like to put pictures of him in the United shirt when he was a kid and stuff like that, but that's not going to happen. I saw it as well. Chelsea. I don't know if it was you actually, but I think I saw a Chelsea fan on Twitter put on Twitter saying that Cole Palmer is what United fans think Bruno Fernandes is.
That wasn't me, but yeah. I mean, obviously, Bruno's a good player, but I think he's vastly overrated. Like, I think he's one of them where his numbers sort of cover up his ineffectiveness, and I just look at him and you sort of look at Fernandes and you can't believe he's got the numbers that he's got.
Yeah,
he just doesn't look like he does anything in a game.
Because obviously you're a match-going fan, and I'm pretty sure that when you watch a game on the TV and when you're actually in the stadium, you can see
it's totally different.
Exactly. So obviously, like I said before in the stream, that this is my first season as a season ticket holder at Old Trafford, and the difference that you see is bonkers. And I was saying to my dad, because I've always been a massive fan of Bruno Fernandes, but I've looked at him and I said to him, if Bruno Fernandes doesn't get a goal or assist, what does he actually bring? Because he runs around a lot. He's quite petulant. He might pick up a red card every now and again recently. But apart from that, it's like he's offered us nothing this season, which is disappointing because he's the club captain. He looks like he doesn't want to play for the club anymore.
He's not captain material.
I know he's not captain material. Like, you look like what is captain material nowadays? Because you've got so many these players.
He's not a leader though, is he? He's not a leader.
No, I don't think United have any leaders.
I think the biggest leader in our
team. I think the biggest leader in our team is probably someone like Dalot,
or Lissandro. I'll say Martinez is kind of quite. I don't know for certain, but
if he was good enough, I'd want Casemiro as the captain, because a player that's won it all, who's got a vast amount of experience. But obviously his legs are going, and he can't play every single game, which is unfortunate. So I look at the likes of, like you said, Martinez, but I also look at the likes of Dalot and these players that they're gonna at least fight towards some form. But we'll have to see how it goes. I mean, even Luke Shaw, if he was available, that pains me to say, because Luke Shaw for me is still England's best left back. I know you've got Ben Chilwell and stuff, but in tonight's game against Finland, before in the first half, Trent was playing at left back. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I think that we can all admit, if it is England fans, if Shaw was fit, he would be playing at left back tonight for England. So I feel like that whatever happens with United, I hope it gets better, because but I don't know anymore, Charlie, to be honest. I don't think I know how you started a few years ago, but where do you think United finished right now if they kept Ten Hag? Because obviously the future isn't decided. If they was to keep Eric Ten Hag till the end of the season, where do you think United finish? Between
8th and 10th, probably. I don't think they do any better. If Ten Hag stays the whole season, they're not doing better than last season, because you've got worse at the moment. Yeah. So I would have to say probably between 8th and 10th. For me, there's no European football if things stay how they are.
Yeah, and maybe United need that, to be honest. Maybe they need that, because we shouldn't have been in Europe this season, but we won the FA Cup, and that's why we're in the Europa League. We took Newcastle's place away from them or something.
Yeah, and then he bumped us down to the Conference League. Yeah,
that was it. Yeah. So, it's we'll have to see how it goes. But I just look at it and I'm like, our next game's against Brentford. Then we've got Jose Mourinho's Fenerbahce. Like, these are teams that you hear the name and you're there like, okay, it's Brentford. Okay, it's Fenerbahce. United should be beating these, but Brentford are like in that game against, was it West Ham or Wolves, whichever one it was? They won 5-3.
Yeah, Wolves. Yeah,
Wolves. So with that game, Brentford in one game scored the amount of goals United have scored in the Premier League all season. Like, do you know what I mean? And Jose Mourinho, when we're watching that game, and Jose Mourinho, it's going to be Fred as well, isn't it? Fred's going to score the winner. Jose Mourinho's going to shush the away fans. You can just see it. It's like poetry, isn't it? Like, you just can just see it happening. Like,
I'll be loving it if that happens.
Oh, don't, mate. Don't, please don't. But no, yeah, we've kind of got a bit longer than I planned to. But obviously, I've asked you about United, Chelsea. But based on what you've seen so far this season, obviously you're going to have a lot more challenging games. Where do you think Chelsea finish towards the end of the season?
I think we'll come fourth. Obviously, we'll find out a lot more about us in this kind of next run of challenging fixtures. But yeah, for me, I haven't seen, other than I think right now, based on the early evidence of the season, force between Chelsea and Villa, and I back us to come fourth just with the squad depth and whatnot, and not having Champions League, having Conference League, which is obviously a lot easier for us than the Champions League is for Villa. So I think we'll come fourth.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. But thank you for everyone who's watched this evening. Make sure you go check out Charlie at Blue Brother CFC on YouTube. Is it over 10,000 subscribers now you're on?
Yeah, mate, I'm on 12.3 or something. 12.3. Yeah.
See, and he's kind enough to come on a channel with 2,000 subscribers. That's why Charlie's an absolute legend. So
no, mate, we all start somewhere, mate. You know, everyone starts at the same place, mate.
It's always appreciated, mate.
No, pleasure, mate. No problem at all.
Yeah, so hopefully we can do something as well before United play.
Yeah, definitely, mate.
Play each other. But yeah, if you've watched, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.